Good morning, students. Welcome to another science lesson. And today our lesson is about the three R's. You know already what are the three R's, right? Yes, reduce, reuse, and recycle. So, by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to explain the 3R system and sort the waste into materials that can be recycled or trashed. So, what actually happens to the trash? As a student, when you throw it in the waste basket, we have the custodian in our building. They come, they collect all the trash from the classrooms, take it to the dumpster outside, and then the garbage truck comes and takes it to a landfill where you throw or you dump the waste. This is what happens to the trash. Now, we know that when we already discussed the problems we're having landfills and dumping the waste, right? So the best solution for waste problem is to reduce the amount of waste we produce. We need to reduce, right? So how can we reduce the waste? Okay, let's see. Writing on both sides of the paper will help you. Rather than writing on one side and just throwing the paper away, try to use maximum of the paper. Don't just throw it because you drew one line and then you don't want it anymore. Also, buying a large bottle of drink instead of buying 6 small ones can help, right? Because when you're using a large bottle, you're having only one bottle. But instead, when you have 6 bottles, 6 small ones, if you buy, you have 6 bottles. So we can reduce by having a large one. And also by avoiding unnecessary packaging. Now, when you need to pack things, we need to pack only what is required. Don't just add stuff to it, unnecessary things, and by that we are actually adding to the trash. So we can reduce by avoiding these unnecessary packaging. We can also reduce waste at home. If you know the rules of recycling, use reusable containers. So if you are using the same bottle many times, we are reducing trash rather than using one time, throwing it, next time you throw another one. So the bottles and containers, instead of throwing away, when you are reusing it, it's better. And also cancel unnecessary mail. Nowadays we don't have mails, but still, when letters and things are sent, just avoid unnecessary things. Stop using disposable kitchenware, plastic spoons and all. Instead of that, we will use the silver and all those, so that we can wash and use it again. And ditch plastic bags. Okay, so again it says say no to plastic bags or upcycle. So you can do all these methods. Also, we can reuse jars, bottles, bags, books, and even clothes instead of throwing away, right? Instead of throwing all these things away, we can reuse some of the things. Maybe we can change it to something else which we want to use. Also, we can recycle different materials like precious metals, broken glass, newspapers, and aluminum cans. Now, some of the rubbish we produce is called domestic waste. Now, this will rot away. Rot means, it will break down and it will go away. These are called biodegradable. You will see sometimes when you go for shopping, there are biodegradable bags, shopping bags, because it will break down and mix with soil. Remember when we learned about the decomposers? And that is sometimes, compost is made. Compost is actually a nutrient-rich soil that is created when organic materials like leaves, grass clippings, food scrap, all these waste, they are allowed to decompose naturally. We just bury it in the soil, and after a few days, the organisms or the decomposers, they break it down and mix it with soil, like you see in the picture. On day 1, you have all kind of vegetable waste, food and leaves and all those, but by day 30 it's already nutrients for the soil, so the plants can use it. So these things, it's easy, but non-biodegradable things are very hard, because it will stay there, it will not break down. Now, rather than throwing away all your rubbish, what you can do is to keep different types of rubbish separately. Like, for example, paper, you know, recycling things can be done separately. The non recyclable parts or the trash can be kept separately. Did you know an average person throws away about 1 kilogram of solid waste each day? That means in just 1 year, you can create a pile of waste nearly 10 times as big as yourself. Just imagine if one person you are making 1 kilogram, in 1 year you have how many days? Yes, 365 days. So by 1 year you have 365 kilograms, and this is for one person. Just imagine how many person are there in a house, in a neighborhood, in a city. Just calculate the waste, and it's too much. So, recycling helps in conserving resources and energy. It takes far less energy to melt old metal cans to make new ones than to make new metal. So, recycling it helps in conserving means saving or caring for the resources and energy. Because why? Old metal cans to melt and use it, it needs only less energy. But to have new metals, dig out, you have extra expense and energy to dig, take them out and When you take it out from the soil, it's actually mixed with so many things. Now you need to clean it, separate it. Maybe two metals are mixed together. We need to separate it. So you need a lot of energy and expense to do that. But the old metals to recycle, it's less expensive, right? So this is how recycling, reducing, reusing can help to conserve our environment, because the previous days we were talking about conservation and the threats to the environment. So with that, we are done with our lesson. You can open your Pupils book, page 38. We are going to do what have you learned. So let's do the rubbish we throw away each day is called, yes, the rubbish is called domestic waste. Vegetables and cardboard are biodegradable, because cardboard also, if you leave it, it's made of paper, right? It's made from the tree, so it will take some time, but it will rot. They rot away to make compost. We should blank the amount of waste we produce. Yes, we need to reduce the amount of waste we produce. We can blank good bottles and scrap paper. We can reuse the good paper, bottles and scrap paper. We can, yes, recycle glass, cans, fabrics and newspaper. The metals from which they are made can be melted down or processed in some other way to make new products. So now you can open your notebook. We will do the check your progress. So open your notebook, write the date, write the lesson number 11, the lesson name 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle, and in the bracket write page number 38 and the subheading check your progress. So now the first question is, what is domestic waste? We discussed this already, right? It is all the rubbish or all the waste we produce. Yes. Now how much domestic waste does an average person produce in 1 year? Yes, we discussed it's 1 kg per day. So in 1 year it is 365 kilograms. Now number 2, explain how you should dispose of A. Empty glass drink bottles. What we should do with the empty glass drink bottles, because it's glass, we can reuse or recycle. What about empty cans? Cans, we cannot reuse it, right? So we need to recycle it. Now the last question, why is it better for the environment to recycle old glass bottles than to make new one? Why? Yes, because we told fewer resources and energy is required. We need less energy and less resources. Okay, so now let's move on to a small activity. I want you to tell me if this picture, empty cans, goes to recycle or to trash. Yes, it goes to recycle. Next one, leaves. Yes, it goes to trash, where it is broken down into compost or whatever. Now next one, you have old clothes. Yes, it goes to recycling. What about lemon peels? We cannot recycle those, so it has to go to trash. What about paper clip? Yes, it goes to recycling because it's made of metal, right? What about glass jars? Yes, it's also recyclable because it's glass. What about newspaper? Okay, newspaper actually can go to both, but it's better to recycle because making into a compost, it will take longer time. We can recycle and use the paper. If we keep it for compost, it will take a more longer time, and we need to still cut trees to make more paper. What about watermelon seeds? Yes, it's not recyclable, so it goes to the trash. What about the eggshell? Yes, it goes to the trash, where you can make it into compost. Banana peel? Same. All the food waste will go to the trash because we cannot recycle them. Apple core? Yes, it goes to the trash. What about the milk jug? Yes, it's made of plastic, so it goes to recycling. Cardboard box, again it goes to recycling. Like we talked about newspaper, this can also rot and are biodegradable, but it's take longer time. And like we said, we need to cut more trees to get more paper and cardboard, so it's better to recycle and use them again. Plastic bottles, yes, it's also recyclable. For the next class, please bring newspaper or flyers or booklets because we will make something out of it. So don't forget it. Don't tell me I forgot when you come to the class, okay? Because when others make, you will have to sit without making. Now, can you draw a small poster or a picture about recycling? I've given you 3 examples over here. You can use these, or you can use your own creativity and make your own picture. You make your own poster, I mean. So with that, we come to the end of our lesson. Thank you. Have a nice day.